Michael Cameron. I'm also a small business owner in New Hampshire. My question is this: your theme for your campaign is based on change, and the new global economy is based on creativity and change. How do you think you can connect with the American people as far as making them aware of all the change that's going to be affecting them in all areas of their life?
Well, part of the task of the next president, and this actually ties into the previous question, is to make the American people understand that global interdependence is here to stay. It's not going away. Global trade is not going away. Technology is not going away. The internet's not going away. And that means enormous opportunities, but it also means more dislocations, more threats, and the requirement that the American people be constantly that much more adaptable. And what I think you'll see in this election between the Democratic nominee and the Republican nominee is a contesting narratives about how we meet the challenges of this rapidly accelerating world. One story is based on fear. And it basically says there are all these terrible people out there that are out to get us. There are immigrants that are flooding our borders, and we have to batten down the hatches and stop change from occurring. And there's another story to tell that says we have some very real threats, but the only way to solve them is not through shutting down, but rather opening up and reaching out to other peoples, encouraging greater understanding, encouraging greater integration, based on principles that empower individuals in countries on our side and on the other sides of the borders. And that we have to make sure that we've got our act together if we're going to be effective in dealing with some of these threats. So I'll just give you two quick examples. Climate change, I think, is one of the most obvious examples. We know that the climate is changing, and we know that unless we take leadership, we can't persuade China or India that they're going to do something different. And legitimately so, because China may soon be the greatest emitter of greenhouse gases, but on a per capita basis, they'd have to go a long way before they match up to the amount of carbon that we produce each and every day. And so for us to expect them to act without us acting, it's not going to happen. Same thing is true in terms of how we operate fiscally. You know, it's very hard for us to lecture other countries about the management of their economies. When we run up, we doubled our national debt during one presidential term, or during the administration of the single president. And that makes us vulnerable. One other thing that I think is really important for the American people to understand, and I'm not a historian, there are people here who understand history better, but here is an iron law of history, and that is countries that successfully compete economically will end up also being able to protect themselves and will be militarily strong. Countries that are not competing or declining economically and try to hang on to their status simply militarily are in for a fall. And one of the transitions that we're going to have to make, one of the things that we have to recognize is that our military is only going to be as strong as our economy, so there is a homeland security element, making sure that we're training enough scientists and engineers, that we're revamping our school systems, that we're making sure our entire workforce is constantly adapting to the economy. In that sense, we haven't heard for this administration. It's not in the discussion when you hear talk of the war on terrorism. It's as if it's something completely separate and apart, as opposed to something intimately related to our long-term security.